Hey everyone, today is day 17. I couldn't download yesterday's video. I'm going to try it again today and put it on YouTube. So I'll try it again today and hopefully I can download this one as well. So if you know anybody that these are helpful with and they just want to go to YouTube, they can do that. So feeling fully is today's topic. Day 17 of 21 days to finding hope in uncertain times. And I don't usually know what's going to come out of my mouth when I do these. It just comes, and sometimes it's a lot, and sometimes it's a little. But feeling fully, I wanted to share a couple things about this. Please know the opinions of this. This is my personal opinion. You'll often hear people talk about, I'm empathic, I'm this, I'm that, I'm highly sensitive. And I would tell you, I'm empathic, I'm highly sensitive, but I believe, this is just my personal belief, I believe everyone is empathic. Everybody is. Hey, Anna, everyone at least has that the potential to be within him. It's whether they're in touch with it or not. And why I want to share this is feeling fully from an EFT perspective is the way through emotions. But what often I can find happens is if people get very caught up in like, oh my God, I'm feeling the energy of everybody, I think it's a great distraction from what's really going on inside of us. So again, Marty Murphy's personal opinion, you are so free to reject this. And I say that because I see it in myself. And so if you're, when I was little, I could walk in a room and feel stuff. And I'm such a pragmatic person. One time I did this ionic foot bath with my husband. I come from the show me state. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and show me, and then I'll believe it. Show me. My intuition got sort of digressed from my upbringing, which I think happens if you live in this culture. It happens to you. You have to be in a pretty amazing home life for that not to happen. But why I want to talk about this empathy thing, or being an empath or highly sensitive, is what I find. This is what I find is, again, we go in, we feel something, oh my God, I'm feeling everybody's energy, and we're not tuning into, well, what am I feeling, me, about this? So there's that layer. You can walk in and scan the room and feel something, but you want to go deeper. You want to go past that, in my view. You want to go, okay, I'm feeling a lot of energy around here, but what's happening in me with this? Because otherwise, we get distracted from going within ourselves, and we're like, I'm feeling all this energy from everybody else and I've got to get away from it. It is the perfect opportunity. It's the perfect stew pot to help you. It's a roadmap to go within and go, yeah, I'm feeling this, but what's happening for me? The other thing that I see happens is empathy can get, or being an empath can be being hypervigilant. If you grew up in a home where it was how you survived was to be hypervigilant, to pay attention, to scan the room, to do that, it becomes hypervigilance. So it's really good to kind of know the difference. And again, if you're feeling energies of everyone else, if you're picking up on that, and there's a thing called mirroring neurons where we can actually do that. If you're around something enough, if you're exposed to it enough, you will mirror that feeling and emotion of what you're seeing. And in the collective consciousness that we have going on right now, with fear being the even larger pandemic, you can find that it's hard to keep your center in that. So and then the other piece why I want to talk about hypervigilance, being an empath, feeling the sensitivities, is we want to go back to us. What's happening in me? What am I feeling? Because if we keep staying out here, I'm picking up all this energy around me, we're not going into us where we can really release something. So it's like, what do I think? What do I feel? What's happening in me? And if you can't get in touch with that, what's showing up in my body. Do I have a fluttering in my stomach? Do I have a tightness in my chest? That helps you go within. And Byron Katie said this, and this is always stuck in my head. If anybody doesn't know her, she does a thing called The Work. And she wrote a bunch of books. I Need Your Love, Is That True? Question Your Thoughts. But she says every time we focus more on someone else, and that can even be the outside world, than ourselves, we abandon ourselves. And I think that's so true. So if you're in a relationship where I've been there, oh my God, and you're looking for that person to fill that up in you, that's abandonment issues typically. I have found, I know it was true for me in childhood. So when we go within, that's where our freedom lives. Anytime we're looking for someone else to change for us to feel okay, I have a freaking PhD in this, so I say this without judgment, and I've judged the heck out of myself for it. We end up kind of losing the lesson for ourselves, and not losing like I lost the lesson. You can always come back to it. So I just wanted to share that. So where the feeling fully comes in is if we're in that place and we're feeling like, oh my God, I'm picking up the energy of everybody else, and we don't want to feel that, like we reject it and we're like, oh my God, this is too much for me. I got to get out of here. We lose the opportunity to go within and go, what is happening for me here? So I'm going to share a personal story. So I've been feeling like amazingly grounded, centered, peaceful during this time, probably in so many ways more than I ever had until yesterday. And then yesterday I was in the kitchen and I was making myself some lunch. And what I would describe is, I don't know a better way to describe it. I just felt this sort of darkness overcome me, this heaviness. And if I go down the rabbit hole, am I picking up dark energy from somewhere, which I can do? I'm like, Marti, what is going on here? What does this remind you of? So fortunately, yesterday I had my own session with, my person, which was great. And by going into that and not getting distracted by what negative, what dark energies am I picking up, I was able to go within and tap and go, what does this remind me of? Where is this coming from? And to give an example, in my childhood, growing up in a very devout Catholic family with a father that should have been a priest, and a father that made it very known to us that he would disown us if we weren't good Catholics, and a father that had PTSD, I lived in terror a lot. Now, not all the time. My father was also a good man who happened to have his own programming and happened to have PTSD and was in 2 wars and saw a lot. But it was as a child to go, oh my God, I know that I can be ousted from my tribe. And when my father's PTSD would kick in, he would get us out of bed in the middle of the night in a very harsh way, not like physically like grab us, but he would rip the covers off of us, and that was terrifying. So I have a habit that's still there, that's improving, where like if my husband says, hey, we should call them, I pick up the phone almost immediately, and I'm like, okay, I'll take care of it. And it will annoy my husband because he's like, why do you have to do that? And his thing can be like, hey, what's in this for me? What's happening for me? What am I getting annoyed about in me because of her behavior? And mine is, what is that in me that I feel this, like that I'm like, so like, there's the hypervigilance. I'll take care of it right away. And it came to me. After a lot of tapping around this for many years, the big, boom, dropped. It just was like that cognitive shift, that opening, that awareness that came up. I went, oh my God, like that's how my life was as a kid. My father was a Marine. If I was given an order, I better hop to, no excuses, no questioning, get on it immediately. That created such hypervigilance in me, along with terror of, imagine on a school night being pulled out of bed in the middle of the night to go do the dishes. Imagine, hearing the violence of my father breaking things because of the PTSD. So why I want to, I often think I share my personal stuff in the hopes that it's a helpful example for you. So during this time more than ever, if you find yourself like, oh my God, I'm picking up everybody's energy, it's like go down deeper and go, what does this remind me of? What's coming up? What does this represent for me? I may be feeling all that. I've got the mirroring neurons going on, but what am I meant to learn by this? That's a great question. What am I meant to learn from this? Because a couple things. You start to separate from the fear because you're taking a step back from it, and you're not abandoning yourself. You're staying present with yourself instead of focused out here in the world. You're staying present with you and going, oh my God, there's something here that's coming up so that I can heal it and release it. And it's huge. And I cannot tell you, just the awareness alone, because of this habit that I've had for so long of, oh, I'll take care of it, I'll do it. And this is the other thing. I notice, and I was talking to my husband about this morning, he can say something like, hey, are we going to Arizona tomorrow? And if it hasn't been confirmed with me, I go, what? Like, wait, what? We didn't confirm it. It's the hypervigilance kicks in, and I go into a state of shock. Now that sounds like a strong word for that, but that was the habit in my childhood. If somebody says something, I have to have the answer. If somebody does something, I've got to know. And this is such a way, to me, when you uncover this, to find more compassion for yourself, to look in the window of that little child that you were and see what you went through and why you have the behaviors that you have as an adult now, and how can that help you find more compassion and more self-love. And then with this video, how can that help you allow yourself to feel more fully? So with my example yesterday, all of a sudden this sort of darkness came over me. If I'd stayed stuck in, I'm picking up dark energy or something like that, I was like, my little kid was so activated in terror. No idea why still, other than a couple of series of events of things that seemed minor, but probably had a buildup. And in EFT, the way activations happen is the brain stores information. So you might see a red sweater from a traumatic event as a child and you forget about it, and then you can see red sweaters your whole life, but then all of a sudden out of the corner of your eye you see something flash in red. You don't see it, but the brain sees it and activates that part of you. If ever there was a reason to have more self-compassion, this is it. But we live in a world, especially in the personal development world, just do it, put your big girl pants on and make it happen. Put your big boy pants on. And we're re-shaming ourselves for not being able to shift a habit that we learned that got imprinted in us so early. So when you start to take that step back and go, God, what's going on in me? If I had to guess what's happening to me, I guarantee you, your little kid's activated. And when you start to stay present with that little child in you, you are no longer abandoning yourself and that early childhood part of you. And I so see how ultimately over time this continues to heal it. And when I had that awareness yesterday, my God, no wonder when something says I go into a state of shock. I had such empathy and compassion for myself. And I didn't need my husband to get it. I was explaining it to him and he's like, yeah, it makes sense. But I didn't need him to get it. He happened to get it, but I was free of that. So now you can go, wow, I can start to feel fully, because we get afraid of feeling fully if we're taking the empathic thing and going, I'm feeling everybody's dark energy. I don't want to feel this. So that's where we lose the chance to go within and go, what am I needing to see here? What is coming to me? And then you get to that place where you might just have an awareness. And here's the thing. You can have an awareness and your behavior may not change for a while. That happened to me. I had all these awarenesses where I was like, okay, my little kid's activated. Couldn't change the behavior to save my life for months. But I actually was starting to change it because I was aware of it. I couldn't unsee it. The unconscious had become conscious, so I was seeing it, might not be able to change it. And this is where self-compassion can come in too, is I still can't change it, but of course I can't. I've had this pattern in place for a while now, and there it is. So when we step back from, okay, I'm feeling all this energy, what's going on in me? Now it feels less fearful to feel fully. And that's huge. I know that was a really long monologue, but it's so important. Like I said, never really know what's going to come out of my mouth when I do these, but that's what came. So hopefully you find that helpful in the way to help and allow yourself to start feeling fully and not feel like, oh my God, I'm feeling all this darkness of everybody else around me. You're no longer outward focused on what's going on. You come back home to yourself within you, and you stay present with yourself, and guess what happens? You feel less abandoned, and you start to heal that part of you. So let's tap. Karate chop. Even though feeling fully can feel fearful. Say that 4 times really fast. I don't want to do it sometimes, because I feel like I pick up everyone else's energy. I choose to honor my feelings now. Even though feeling fully can free me, if I stay present with myself, I choose to honor my feelings now. Even though feeling fully is a practice, it takes practice. I think I'm going to sneeze. I choose to honor, here comes my feelings now, maybe. Excuse me. And go to the eyebrow. Feeling fully scares me. I pick up other people's energy. But what if this is the perfect opportunity to take a step back from that? Everyone else's energy. And go within. Stay present with myself. Give myself the gift of presence. I live in a culture and a world that has trained me to look outside myself, to fill myself up. And what if what's happening in the world right now is a huge opportunity to go within even more, to give myself the gift of my own presence and heal that inner child in me. It's so easy to get distracted in the outer world, paying attention to what everyone else is feeling and doing. And of course I do that. I was programmed to do exactly that. And what if now I can start to have my own back here, to feel fully within me? What's happening inside of me right now? Regardless of what's going on in the world. And whatever emotion I'm feeling, what if I can allow it? Stay present with myself so that I can feel it more fully. And get the gems of transformation that are within the emotion. And what if I become less and less afraid? Less rejecting of emotions? What if I learn to welcome all my emotions? Those that I've learned to label as bad or negative, and those that I've labeled as good or positive. And what if that is so freeing for me? Because another gift that can come from this is more self-acceptance, more self-compassion, and more self-love. Giving that gift to myself has that ripple effect out in the world. And then that's me doing my part to help what's happening in the world now. And then take a breath. So if that resonated, you found the tapping helpful. I know that was, I have no idea how long this is, a long monologue, but I felt like it was really important. It just kept coming. So I just think it's so huge to realize, like, when we go to that, God, I'm an empath and I'm feeling this, to come back home to yourself and go, okay, feeling stuff, but what am I feeling in here? It's such an opportunity to heal that little kid and to find more compassion. And then yesterday for me, I had a tapping session. Oh my God, I had such strong emotion coming up. And then I just let myself, even after that, just feel that the sadness and the different emotions that were coming up. And then even this morning when I woke up, I noticed I was feeling a bit more fragile, is the way I would say. And oh, my little kid's still there. She's feeling fragile. So that I stay present with myself. And then it passed. Because I'm staying present with me instead of distracting myself, which I have a freaking PhD in doing with other things. And I find the more that I do that, the better it is. And I think that really is a huge gift that we give to all of those around us. But most importantly, the most important person in your life, you. And Lori, you said your insight and self-compassion really resonates. So helpful. I'm so happy to hear that, Lori. And is it Nilam? I don't want to say it wrong. Pam, Susan, Anna, happy to have you all here live, however long you were here. If you're still here, you're hanging in there with me. And then we'll see you back here tomorrow for day 18. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll say that pithy quote, be good to yourself. Practice staying present with yourself. That's a better way to say it. Bye for now.